Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Steph from the High Moving Podcast, and let the Deion bandwagon continue. And it's a good bandwagon. You know, if you don't believe now, I don't know what else he can do. You know, he goes last week, he beats ranked TCU, the football program that was a national championship. Then he turns around this week with even more pressure than the TCU game, and has his guys come out and win the football game against Nebraska, where there was some people who was actually picking Nebraska to give this team some problems and possibly win the game. You know, which I just couldn't see it. I just thought Colorado was just too talented, and clearly they are, right? This was a good game for Colorado just because the game didn't start out perfect. It was very nip and tuck. You know what I'm saying? It was a close ball game for the most part. I think it was 13 zip at the half. You know what I'm saying? Then early in the second half, Colorado have a defensive mistake and allow Sims to run for a touchdown. So, but what I liked about this game is that, you know, Shedeur, albeit he did take a couple sacks and, you know, those times where he should have threw the ball away. But when the team needed to score, when they needed to manufacture points, I mean, he was very surgical. I mean, 393 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. For me, just the way he operated in this game, especially when it wasn't ideal, things weren't going his way, he still kept it level-headed and still was able to march his team down. I mean, Xavier Henry had 170 receiving yards, so he was the playmaker of the day. Travis Hunter did okay with 73 receiving yards as well. And I mean, look, it was a total team effort. Nobody outside of Weaver as their top playmaker and Deion Sanders. It was a total team effort, right? But those two guys were the ones that really, you know, drove this home, man. I mean, just the rushing touchdown he had towards the end, Shedeur, some of the pinpoint passes he made was just excellent, man. So for me, Heisman front runner, if not the Heisman leader, you know, after 2 games. And I mean, look, people are gonna say, "Oh, it's just Nebraska." Well, you know, if they lost this game, we wouldn't have heard the end of it, right? You know what I'm saying? Everybody who was hating on Deion, or the few in the media that have the loudest voice that's anti Deion Sanders, oh, they would have been so amped up for Monday. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that talking, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you had that just one win against TCU and you thinking you guys arrived, and then you lose to Nebraska, right? The noise would have just been absurd, right? Even though the expectations for this team is somewhere between, in my opinion, 6 to 8 wins, and then anything else after that is icing on top. So Colorado, you know, at least they have probably bigger aspirations than what the general public has for them, right? Which is good, you know what I'm saying? But clearly, this team is better than last year, obviously, with the whole roster change, coaching changes, and the transfer portals, all that stuff. This team is not 1-11. This team is clearly is nowhere near that 1-11 team. I mean, just after what we saw last week, clearly Colorado got some talent, and they are ranked where they should be. You know, they're number 22, and they just got to go out there and continue to try to prove it to themselves each week. You know, it's going to get a little tighter when they got to play Oregon and play USC, and we'll really see what this team's about in terms of the greater picture, in terms of how well they can compete against the top talent, right? But in general, just the regular competition they've been facing, they're pretty good. They're good. They're more than good. You know, they should be able to beat these unranked teams. And if they lose to one, okay, it's a stumble, but you know, that's just part of just being a new program, new players, everything like that. And they have a lot. It doesn't matter how far they get to this season. And clearly they have a lot that they can build on for next season as well. And just what Deion has done, if Deion even is still here after 1 year, right? But if they go really, really far this season, talk about a quick turnaround, right? And just the Deion Sanders effect. I mean, it's a real thing, you know. Even when things weren't going their way, he still had his guys locked in, and they found a way to win this game and continue to silence the doubters. So each week, everyone's going to continue to say, okay, is this the team that knocks off Colorado, right? Everybody's waiting for Deion Sanders to slip up. And I don't look at it that way. It's like, yeah, I mean, no team is perfect. Every team is gonna be due to have a bad game at some point, whether they end up winning that game or losing, right? It's not indicative of the coach. It's just, hey, players just got to execute. And if they can't in the moment, the other team, sometimes the defense got to win too, or the other opposing team's offense got to win too, right? So, but it was good. They maintained what they need to do. They maintained their record, maintained beating Nebraska, keeping it clean, you know. They just got to work on the penalties, but they have a lot of things they can work on, which was good. So, good game for Deion Sanders and Colorado, and Deion Sanders, who right now is probably my favorite quarterback in college football. Hey, Caleb Williams is going to be on the spotlight. Maybe he can change my mind, but right now, just from what I've seen in 2 weeks, Deion Sanders is that dude for me. So, great game overall from Colorado Buffaloes, man. Let me know what y'all think about all this. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. I'm out.